It started like a whisper from the stars, a flicker in the sky, a strange, silent traveler passing through the solar system, uninvited, unannounced, and unlike anything we'd ever seen. That was 2017. Now, nearly a decade later, the mystery that once slipped through our grasp has come roaring back into the spotlight. The James Webb Space Telescope has just done what no other instrument could. It has captured, with haunting clarity, the very first direct image of Oumuamua, the enigmatic interstellar visitor whose secrets have gripped the minds of scientists and dreamers alike. And the world has stopped to look. In that image, framed against the cold backdrop of the void, is not just a rock or relic, but a relic of something far deeper, something older, something we don't yet understand. When astronomers in Hawaii first spotted the object in 2017, they knew instantly it was different. It moved too fast. It came from the wrong direction. It wasn't orbiting the sun like everything else we've cataloged. It was passing through. A visitor, not just from another planet, but from another star. They named it Oumuamua, a Hawaiian word that means scout or messenger, a fitting name for an object that arrived carrying only questions. Back then, the glimpse we got was fleeting, a few blurry observations. No tail, no gas, no dust. None of the usual signs that tell us this is a comet. Its shape, inferred from its strange tumbling motion, was like nothing seen before. Not spherical, not jagged. Long, thin, maybe cigar-shaped, or flat like a pancake. Scientists argued, scrambled for answers. Was it natural? A chunk of rock from a distant system? Or was it something more? Time ran out before we could get closer. Oumuamua exited our solar system at a staggering speed, vanishing into the blackness and taking its secrets with it. But now, Webb has found it again. The telescope's instruments locked onto its distant path, using the precision of infrared eyes built to see the unseen. And what came back wasn't just data, it was a revelation. The image showed a surface that looked almost sculpted, textured and grooved, as if molded by time itself. This wasn't just a rock, it was a memory frozen in motion. Every ridge and scar on its surface was a chapter, written in cosmic silence, of a journey that may have lasted billions of years. And embedded in its skin, materials we've never encountered. Exotic compounds, heavy carbon chains, metallic signatures that don't match anything common in our solar system. This wasn't just alien in the literal sense. It was chemically alien, born in a place far stranger than Earth could ever imagine. And still, it moved. Still, it accelerated. That's what shook everyone, even back in 2017. Oumuamua didn't behave like other objects. As it left the sun's grasp, it sped up. Not because of gravity, not because of gas. Just moved faster. For years, scientists chalked it up to the unknown. Outgassing, maybe. Some invisible plume. But Webb saw no vapor trails, no emissions, no escape of material. Nothing. So now the impossible question lingers even louder than before. What exactly are we looking at? Is this the first sign of something not made by nature? Harvard's Avi Loeb dared to suggest that maybe, just maybe, it was artificial. A light sail, a probe, a piece of ancient alien technology drifting through the stars. A whisper from someone or something out there. And while Webb's new image doesn't prove that theory, it doesn't kill it either. In fact, it breathes new life into the idea that maybe, just maybe, we're not the only ones watching the skies. But even if it is natural, its nature is extraordinary. A blend of elements forged in violent stellar deaths, rich in organic compounds possibly formed in the chaos of starbirth. It's like holding a piece of a dream, except that dream came from another galaxy. It might have passed suns we've never mapped, worlds we'll never know, and perhaps even clouds of gas that seeded it with ingredients for life. Because that's the other question we have to ask, isn't it? Could it carry life, or the building blocks of life? Could this object, silent and ancient, be part of how life spreads through the galaxy? Not with intent, but by chance, by drifting, by falling, by arriving in places like here. When we look at that image from Webb, it's not just science anymore. It's something deeper, something primal. We're not just seeing Oumuamua, we're seeing ourselves reflected back in the unknown. We thought we knew our place in the universe, but one strange visitor, one silent scout, might be enough to change everything. As the light from Oumuamua's image burned across the data channels of the James Webb Telescope, a wave of silence swept through the astronomical world. Not the silence of space, but the kind that comes when something defies everything you thought you understood. Scientists stared at the ridges, the grooves, the metallic gleam on its fractured surface, and felt something strange stir inside them. Not just awe, but fear. Because this wasn't just a clearer image. This was a mirror reflecting back all the questions we've been too afraid to ask. One question stood out, like a scream in the dark. Why is it moving the way it does? The rules say it shouldn't. Physics says it shouldn't. But there it is, accelerating, turning, veering ever so slightly in ways gravity alone can't explain. And when you take away all the usual suspects, no ice turning to vapor, no jets of gas, no gravitational slingshots, what are you left with? Webb's sensors confirmed it. There are no signs of outgassing, no visible emissions, no comet-like behavior. And yet the object moves. Some now believe it's being pushed, not by matter, but by light. The gentle pressure of photons, sunlight itself, nudging it forward. It sounds poetic, like something out of science fiction. But this idea isn't fantasy anymore. We're building light sails right now, here on Earth, hoping to one day send our own probes to nearby stars. What if Oumuamua is someone else's? That's the idea Avi Loeb has never let go of. He doesn't say it for shock value. He says it because the evidence refuses to behave. If it's a light sail, it's thin, lightweight, reflective, damaged maybe, ancient, but designed. And if it's designed, then someone designed it. And that changes everything. Because we're not just talking about life in the abstract anymore. We're talking about intelligence, engineering, a message maybe, or a relic. A voyager of another kind, built by hands not our own, sent on a path that led, by luck or by intention, through our cosmic backyard. And what if it wasn't just passing by? What if it was meant to be seen? Webb's spectroscopic data paints an even stranger picture. The materials on its surface include heavy carbon chains, compounds that on Earth are associated with life, or at least the chemistry that can lead to life. There are also metallic isotopes that don't match anything commonly found in our solar system. Some elements seem to have been born in violent places, supernovas perhaps, or the dense radiation-scarred clouds where stars are born. If that's true, then Oumuamua comes not just from far away, but from chaos, from a region of space that may be nothing like the calm cradle of Earth's own solar system. It's like holding a fossil from an alien world. Only this fossil moves, speaks, refuses to explain itself. And then there's the path it took. Most interstellar objects, if they arrive at all, come and go in straight lines, trajectories shaped by gravity alone. But not this one. Oumuamua's course had strange variations, subtle deviations. It turned ever so slightly as it moved, as if it was responding to something, or following instructions. That's what some people are quietly asking now. Could it be guided? Not necessarily piloted, not necessarily alive, but guided, launched, programmed, sent. Maybe millions of years ago. Maybe by a civilization that's long gone. Maybe it's just the message they left behind, still drifting, still waiting to be read. Of course, not everyone agrees. Many scientists still hold that it's a natural object. An exotic one, yes, but a rock nonetheless. The product of a violent universe where strange things are born and flung across the stars like leaves in the wind. And that's extraordinary too, because even if it is natural, it still tells us something we've only guessed at. The universe is constantly throwing its pieces at us, sending messengers, sending clues. Maybe Oumuamua is just the first we've noticed. Maybe others have passed by unseen. Maybe some are on their way right now. That's why this moment matters. That's why Webb's image isn't just a picture. It's a warning, a call, a realization that we've been blind for far too long. The sky is alive with motion, with visitors, with questions we've barely begun to ask. And now we're finally listening. As the last pixels of Oumuamua's image sharpened and settled into focus, a strange feeling began to rise across the world. One that wasn't entirely about science. It was something older than curiosity, deeper than wonder. It was the feeling that maybe, just maybe, we had seen a ghost. A ghost not of a person or a place, but of a story. A message from a time and a people we cannot know. And suddenly the question wasn't just what is Oumuamua, but why did it come? Because when you see it up close, its battered surface, its jagged contours, its gleaming scars, you don't see chaos. You see survival. You see something that endured the unthinkable. Ejection from its home, a journey across unimaginable distances, and a quiet, perfect glide through the space between stars. And it made it here, to us. Even now it's drifting away, fading into the darkness. But what it left behind is bigger than its strange shape or chemical makeup. It left behind a possibility that we are not the only architects of dreams, that the stars might remember us, even if we forget to look up. Scientists are already rethinking what comes next. With Webb's breakthrough, we now know it's possible to track, study, and even analyze interstellar objects in real time. But more importantly, we know it's necessary, because this may not be the last time we're visited. In fact, it wasn't the first. In 2019, another object, Borisov, blazed into our solar system, another messenger following its own invisible thread across the void. That's 2 interstellar visitors in just a few years, and those were the ones we managed to catch. How many more have passed us by? How many drifted quietly through the outer solar system, unnoticed, undocumented, unexplored? The realization is both thrilling and terrifying. Space is not empty. It's a highway, and sometimes things come down it. That's why new observatories like the Vera C. Rubin telescope are being built. Not to gaze endlessly at galaxies, but to catch motion, to find the fast, the faint, the unexpected, to catch the next Oumuamua, not when it's leaving, but when it arrives, and maybe even to reach it. Imagine that. A mission someday, not just to observe, but to intercept, to touch, to bring home a piece of the stars. Because this isn't just about astronomy anymore. It's about identity. When Oumuamua entered our skies, it didn't ask for permission. It didn't broadcast a message. It didn't need to. Its presence alone was enough to change how we see the universe and ourselves. For some, it's still just a rock. A fascinating one, yes, but still just a fluke, a chance encounter. But for others, for dreamers, thinkers, builders, it's a crack in the wall. A sign that the universe has been speaking all along, and we've only just learned to listen. What if we're not alone? What if we've never been alone? Oumuamua might not have answers, but it asks the right questions. And sometimes that's even more powerful, because those questions force us to look at our tiny world and wonder how much more is out there. Who else is out there? And whether they too have wondered about us. Maybe this object isn't alien at all. Maybe it's something even more haunting, a message we'll never understand, from a sender long gone, meant for a recipient that no longer exists, a bottle tossed into the cosmic sea, and maybe we were never supposed to find it. But we did. And now, everything has changed. The James Webb Space Telescope has given us a gift. Not just an image, but a moment where the unknown looked back at us and didn't blink. A moment that whispered across the blackness of space, "You are not alone." What we do with that moment, how we let it shape our science, our stories, our search for meaning, is up to us. But one thing is certain, the universe is watching, and it just sent us something to remember it by.